Hello, everyone, and thanks for checking out this talk. We're going to work a little bit on um, thinking about chord tones and non-chord tones, as the title states. Um, and so, when we play a certain type of chord, we want to be able to play those sounds that are a part of the chord, and we can play those as arpeggios. And then we also want to explore any of the tones that are outside. So that could be if there's a four note chord, you could really have really 8 tones outside of that to work with. So I'm going to play a little bit and just kind of get us going here, and then we'll get started on our talk. All right, playing through Autumn Leaves there, and so a couple of things I'm doing there is to play around with chord tones, especially to give an idea of how what the chord changes are, so you can kind of suggest to the listener what the chords are, by playing arpeggios, of course, and also just maybe playing chord tones on certain beats, or on the strong beats in general. Okay, and then you can create some different types of sounds on the chords by playing chords that are not exactly in that chord sound. All right, so what we're gonna jump into now is a bit of talk about chords and what other tones, like non-chord tones, we might try to play. So there's a whole kind of spectrum of consonance and dissonance, and even within a chord itself, there's there are different qualities to each tone of the chord, whether it's the root, third, fifth, seven, or six, and all that. So so that's what we're going to get into here a bit today, and I'm going to write out some things. So if you're listening on the podcast, I'm gonna do my best to explain everything. But those YouTube members will have the visual component as well. All right. So what I'm gonna do here is have the chord. Let's say we'll kind of create an arpeggio, and then we will create some ideas of maybe some things that might play that are outside of all that. All right, so so there's kind of, might say, degrees of dissonance, degrees of consonance. Not sure that I'll use all the chords in a particular tune, but why don't we go with Autumn Leaves, since we were just talking about that one. And let's create a bit of a chord voicing here. So why don't we have why don't we talk about a couple of the chords that we kind of gravitate to in that tune. So we start out with a 2-5-1. So let's write, or I say flat 3, but anyhow, 2-5-1 in G, at least at that given moment in time. So let's check out this this chord shape. So I'm in third position. So we have that drop 3 sound here. Okay, third position, G major 7. So let's adapt that a little bit. So let's say we look at G major 6. So I'm going to move this note that we had here and then down to here. So we'll get a little less dissonance. Okay, so that will be kind of the basis of what we talk about there. All right, so next up, we're going to, so now we're in second position, right? So first finger on string 4. All right, well, let's create an arpeggio, and how about we play kind of in this position, and we'll create an arpeggio, kind of 1 octave. An octave here. So I'll go up. Okay, so we get that G. Okay, so that would be the major 7. So again, let's move this tone down, since the 6 is a little more stable. Okay, so let's take one approach. So one of the first things that you might think about when you're outlining a particular chord is to think about, well, maybe maybe we could have a another triad, just kind of build a triad into there. Okay, so let's say we have F sharp, A, and C. All right, so let's say I'm going to play on this keyboard, or actually it's just a MIDI controller, it's not even really a keyboard. But let's play. Bring that up an octave. So that's the major 7, right? Now the thing about the major 7, the reason why we're changing that note is that this is kind of a dissonance on that sound. So let's move that one down again to that note. Okay, and we get the G6. So let's hear how those. So that's the arpeggio for the G6. So those are all really consonant. So let's listen to this other arpeggios, which is F sharp triad, diminished triad. Okay, so we can hear how dissonant that is. So that creates a lot of dissonance with what we're doing. So, and also think about too the D7. If we added a D to that would be the 5 of the G. Okay, so that's one element that we can take a look at, is to take a tonic chord like a G. I mean, ultimately, Autumn Leaves is in the key of E minor here, but we visit the relative major, so we're going to call it a 1 for the time being. So we have this kind of stable tonic chord with 6 notes, and then we have this diminished triad. Okay, and that gives us a little consonance and dissonance. All right, so we have the G6 chord, and we have this dissonance with that. Okay. Now, of course, we can work this all out throughout the neck, but for this talk, we're really just going to try to think about this concept, and then you can run with it from there. All right, so let's say that we want to, looking at this G6, so we have a G6 chord, G6 arpeggio. Let's talk a little bit about, so that would give you a 7 note scale to work with. Let's talk a little bit about a 5 note scale that you might be able to use on this one. And there are several, but we're going to go over one of them. Okay. So if we have this tone here, if we add the A to our existing arpeggio, now our arpeggio, the G6, is 4 notes total, and then we have, and we're adding one more note, so that gives us a pentatonic scale. So collectively, okay, we get the pentatonic scale. So let's play our chord again, G6. All right. So 5-note scales and 7-note scales. And just sort of this idea of some of these I might just say prime numbers or just odd numbered scales are really common to what is often used in music. So pentatonic scales, triads, and heptatonic scales are just kind of your typical do, re, mi, or those 4 basic scale types: the major scale, harmonic major, melodic minor, and harmonic minor. Those are the 7-note scales, and then the 4 different types of basic triads: major, the augmented, the minor, the diminished. And then the pentatonic scales, we can have quite a few of those, but the most common would be the major pentatonic and its relative minor, and also the minor 6 pentatonic, and also falling into that category is the dominant pentatonic. So so this is an important element, and we can do a lot with this, but this is a good starting point on that. Okay. Now, as far as triads, which I'll touch on a little bit, we can play a really a variety of triads on this G major. There's an E minor right in this as well, in this G6. So those are a couple of things to think about, but we're not going to get into that too much because those are all the chord tones, and we're already talking a lot about that. So let's just talk a little bit about maybe one more topic, which is the bebop scale, which are 8-note scales, which you can think of these also as the 7-note scale with kind of a passing tone. So let's write in a few of these, and we'll play these as well. So I'll just kind of keep these notes within this octave here. All right, so we have the G6. Okay, and there's the bebop scale that's typical of the a tonic type chord, which gives you a note in between the 6 and the 5. Oh, I think we left one out. So let's put another one in here. We'll put a C in here as well. There we go. Okay. So we have 4 notes in our original chord here, the G6, and then we have 4 notes that are outside of that sound. Okay. Okay, so we've kind of added basically to that triad, which I'm thinking about it. go for that. Go to that triad. I'm going to bump that low note up an octave, so it's kind of fitting in that range between the low G and the high G. So kind of first inversion of that. So I'm just going to go back and try to stay consistent on that. Okay, so this has those same 3 notes, but then it also has this this tone in here too, the E flat. So you could try playing along with that. So what's nice about it is that each of the outside tones, you can see we are here that we alternate in between chord tones and non-chord tones. So if you do stepwise motion, it's really pretty helpful. All right, so let's go ahead and identify this. So this is going to be a diminished A diminished 7. Right, so then you can even kind of isolate that and get a sense for those kind of outside or non-chord tones. All right, so that is going to conclude our talk for today. But we can get a lot more outside than this. But these are some, real foundational things that you can try to play around with and work towards. And we'll play a little bit, play us out a little bit, and then I'll call it a day here. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to this. If you checked this out on the podcast, and thanks for those who watched the replay on YouTube in the member area there. So if you are watching on or listening on the podcast and would like to join the member area and get the benefit of being a part of that whole community and having the video component of it, please check out the website and the link below, and you can find a link to the YouTube area. All right, everybody. Thanks, and I'll see you all in the next one.